Top story for you this hour then. Voters in New York, I should say, poised to choose a new mayor on Tuesday following a rather unpredictable race. According to the latest poll then, the breakout Democratic Party candidate Zohran Mamdani, a naturalised Muslim American, leads the former governor Andrew Cuomo, who's running as an independent candidate. In third place then is the Republican Party candidate Curtis Sliwa, aged 71. Polls conducted between October the 23rd and 27th give Mamdani 43% of that vote, followed by Cuomo on 33% and Sliwa on just 14%. Well, look, we can bring you some analysis on tomorrow's upcoming election. Angela Diffley is our international affairs editor. She joins me in the studio. Angela, firstly, good to have you. Those polls then, as I was just saying, certainly suggesting that Mamdani is going to become the next mayor of New York. Of course, anything can happen between now and then, but it's looking pretty well in his camp.
Yeah, he is a brilliant communicator, I think is the first thing to say. He's a very, very good candidate. And of course, Andrew Cuomo has baggage. He was the former governor of New York, and they were left with scandal surrounding him. So he's in a good position. He's also young. It should be remembered that there is a very good percentage of the population of New York which is under 44, between 18 and 44 voters. It is more than the 44 to 65 bracket. So voters in New York are young. And he has concentrated very much on the idea that New York City is simply unaffordable. And he has made some very lavish sounding promises, including state-funded grocery stores, just a number of them, not every grocery store, free transport and free childcare. These are extremely attractive to struggling working New Yorkers and clearly meant to attract votes. Of course, on the other side, people are saying his way of funding this simply doesn't add up. He is likely to bankrupt the city. It is just promising the moon and shouldn't be taken seriously. Some people do say that he's actually doing what Trump does, which is promising, and underneath that, everyone understands that it's not really going to happen, but it's an indication of the direction that he would like to head in. So that's the main thing. He has concentrated relentlessly on the unaffordability of New York and how he plans to change that. Now, a lot of people thought he might have a problem with the Jewish vote in New York. New York, outside Tel Aviv, has the highest number of Jews of any city in the world. He is Muslim. He has been very vocal on Israel, Gaza, very condemnatory of Israel. But it should also be remembered that a lot of the Jewish population in New York do not support the way Israel has conducted itself in the war, and speaking out on Israel and Gaza might not be a problem at all. There is a certain wariness that he might not look after the Jewish population, but he's gone out of his way to make clear that Israel is one thing, that he will look after every single New Yorker, whatever their ethnic background. Apart from that, the other area which is interesting is that Donald Trump has said quite clearly, this man is a communist, and I will be in endless fights with him about releasing government funding, because I don't want federal money to go to a city that is communist, because it's going to be wasted. Mamdani says he is absolutely not a communist, but a lot of people are a little bit wary of voting for a candidate who will be in a constant ongoing battle with New York. That said, there are those who think that Donald Trump wants Mamdani to win, because it would provide him with a constant foil to what he is doing, because it's very interesting. Trump stopped the Republican candidate from withdrawing. At one stage, he suggested he might withdraw so that the anti-Mamdani vote would not be split between him and Cuomo. And Trump said, no, you stay in the race, which led lots of people to think that he wants Mamdani to win. It's going to be very interesting, but he has a really strong lead.
It will be very interesting indeed. Now, voters, of course, are casting their ballots in two other important races for states' governors tomorrow. Walk us through what those races are doing at the same time.
Yeah, two interesting governors' races, and the Democrats are watching, because these three three races will give them some indication of what's going on with Democrat voters. One is in Virginia, and Abigail Spanberger is the Democrat candidate there. They're putting a lot of hope in her. One of the things which might really stand in her favour, first of all, she's a very moderate Republican in line with a much more mixed state. And secondly, in Northern Virginia, there are a lot of federal workers, many of whom have been fired or temporarily laid off for the government shutdown. And so she is hoping that she will get votes off them. The Democrats are watching that, hopeful that she will do well. The second governor's race is in New Jersey. And in New Jersey, again, the Democrats are hopeful. And the reason there that they are hopeful that their candidate, Mikey Sherrill, will do well is because 25% of people in New Jersey are foreign-born. And there has been so much clumsiness around the actions of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, rounding up people who might or might not be illegal migrants, only to release some and to keep others. It has been done in such a messy way that it has provoked a lot of worry and concern. And there are hopes that in New Jersey that will really help the Democrat vote as well. Also, she is up against a candidate who is a big MAGA candidate, and she will be trying to make it into a referendum on Donald Trump, whose ratings in a new CNN poll are not great today. They've gone down very significantly.
What will all this mean when it comes to the current state of the Democrat Party then, Angela?
Yeah, it is really interesting because since Trump was elected, for quite a long time, they appeared simply stunned and unable to react and unable to know what to do. It's very different, for example, to in the United Kingdom, where a party wins, the other party is the opposition party with a leader that takes them in the direction they're going. The Democrats is very different in the United States. There is no official leader of the Democrats. And you also have people jostling for the upcoming presidential elections the next time around in 2028. People keeping their powder dry, not wanting to say what they think until they're clear that it might land well. And so that means there are people saying silence, saying nothing at all, and some people running away with the argument. And the Democrats really haven't decided whether they need to be more left-wing or less left-wing in order to do well in 2028. It's very interesting to look at the No Kings March. 7 million people, that was a week or so ago, really worried about Donald Trump's overreach and what they see as him taking too much of presidential power in an illegitimate way. Those numbers are growing. That is a very significant factor. But they will be looking at these three votes. But of course, New York City is like a city nowhere else in the world. Any conclusion to be drawn from Zohran Mamdani's win cannot be transposed to other parts of the United States. It is a very particular case. They need to decide whether to focus on the economy and to what extent to row back on some of the identity issues which appeared unpopular, or should they just stick to their guns and say this is what the Democrats are about. They haven't decided. There is still no leader. It's not going to produce anything very conclusive. And those Democrats who say that it has, I think, will be probably using it for their own self-serving means.
All right, Angela, from our International Affairs Desk, thanks very much.